What if I told you some camp locations can technically sit in two different map regions? That means you can catch fish from both regions without ever moving your camp. I'm sharing 5 of my favorite double region camp spots that are perfect for fishing and camp builders alike. So let's get to it. Okay, so this first dual region camp sits between Skyline Valley and Savage Divide, and you can find it north of Ranger Station Bunker. And this one is nice because it does have a fairly clear divider for you to tell which side you're fishing on. So this side will be for Skyline Valley, and this side will be for the Savage Divide. And we're getting lucky with our weather today, actually. It's naturally raining right now, so that's perfect. So let's go give the Skyline Valley side a try and see what we can reel in. Also, shout out to Usman who dropped me a ton of improved bait randomly on stream yesterday. That was so sweet and nice, and it has helped out with the making of this video a lot, so thank you. Nice. Well, our rain went away, but we still were able to catch our static sawgill. So that is the Skyline Valley side. And you have a pretty nice area to work with. You know, you can basically fish anywhere in this pond. Now let's go over to the Savage Divide side. And this side is a bit trickier to be able to fish on since it is kind of just this little creek here. Okay, so like I was saying, it is a bit trickier to fish on the Savage Divide side, but you're just going to run up the creek a little ways, just up here, and there is a spot where you can fish. It is a bit tricky to find, but it does exist. So let's give it a try and see what we can catch in the Savage Divide. Nice, and there we go. We got our alpine sawgill. So that is how you can dual fish in the Skyline Valley and Savage Divide. As far as camp placement, you're going to want to put it kind of like right in here. So you're going to want to be on the creek side, just up from where I showed you that line of the mud and the rocks. And then that way you can see that you get the pond for the Skyline Valley side, and then you also get the part of the creek up here where we were just fishing. That works for the Savage Divide side. So yeah, definitely make sure you get your camp in the right spot because they are a bit spaced out. But if you find the right spot, then yes, you can indeed fish in both the Skyline Valley and Savage Divide. And also this camp, again, very pretty area. You have a nice creek here running into the pond, so you can't really go wrong with that. That was weird. Okay, but anyways, yeah, so check this spot out. It's pretty, a lot of unique things you can do with it and build into it, and another fun dual fishing camp. This dual region build sits between the Mire and Cranberry Bog, and it is east of the General Steakhouse. So this one is cool because you have this bridge here and crash truck, which you can incorporate into your build if you want, which is fun. And this one is a little bit tight, but basically where this truck is crashed counts as the Cranberry Bog region. And then you can go over here into this pond and that counts as the Mire. So let's give that a quick try. So we'll start in the Cranberry Bog, see what we can get. This puddle is a little hard to fish in sometimes. It can be a bit tricky to find the right spot, but it does let you fish here. So perfect. And there it is, our bog sawgill. So that's for the Cranberry Bog side, and then we'll run over here and we will check out the Mire side. I also made a video that outlines which fish are specific to which region, so I will link that here just in case you are curious. It does make it a bit easier when you are looking for something specific. Okay, so the Mire side can be a bit tricky to find a spot to fish, but if you just come over to one of these ledges, it should let you fish. All right, let's see what we can reel in. Nice, and there we go, our muddy sawgill. So when you're placing your camp, you just want to make sure that you have probably some of the bridge and the truck in it so you can get the Cranberry Bog side, and then also make sure you get the Mire side. So I'd probably just place it, somewhere over here on this little ledge would be good. And then that way you can have a decent place for fishing in both regions. And it's kind of just a cool area. You have the nice trees around here, the water is pretty. And I think you could do something kind of fun with the truck too. So I think it's a good spot to build in general, and it's a dual region area. So another good one to check out. I definitely think it's worth giving it a try. And if you do build here, let me know how it turns out. Next, I'm going to show you a spot that sits between the ash heap and the forest. And for this one, we are north of Camden Park. And yes, we are quite close to it. And so it may be a bit tricky to place your camp box, but I will show you the best spot that I have found to do that. But first, let's get into how this one works. So obviously it is not as clear as some of the other spots we have seen as to where the dividing line is between the two regions, but I did find a trick that will help you. So first, obviously it's a very pretty area. We have the river here and then a nice view of the forest, and we actually have a thunderstorm happening, so that worked out well. And something to remember when finding this spot, just because I know it can be a bit tricky since it all looks a bit similar in this area, but there is this outing right here of rock, and then if you just come down this way a little further and then look over the edge, and there's actually a spot you can jump down onto, and that's actually where we're going to place our camp box. So if you do end up building here, you're going to want to take your camp box, and it will let you set it on the rock right here. You should be able to set it basically when you can finesse it, you can set it kind of in that area. And then that will give you the radius so that you can be fishing in either the ash heap or the forest. So as far as being able to tell which side you are fishing on, basically again, you want to use this rock as sort of your guideline. So if you go this way, you will be able to be fishing in the ash heap. And there is, I think, a little ledge right here. Yeah, you can hop down on this ledge and you will be technically fishing in the ash heap when you do that. So let's test that out now. We'll cast our line. Okay, what do we got? Is it gonna be our regional fish? Nice. And there we go. So we got our death drop. So that is the ash heap side. So yeah, this little ledge right here, you will be on the ash heap side. Now if we run over here, and remember we are using this little weird offhang where we are going to set our camp as the marker, you can come over here and let's cast out on this side. And this will be the forest region side. Yep, and there we go. We got our timber sawgill. So yeah, a bit tricky because there isn't an exact dividing line, but that should be pretty helpful. Just place your camp box down on the rock right here, and then make sure you fish on either the ash heap side or the forest side. And the other nice thing is that you can also build, a dock going out on either side to also help remember which side is which. And you can put some of the other fun camp items from the season that go in the water, since there are a lot of them. So give it a try. Can't really go wrong. You're on the river, you got a nice forest view, and you can dual region fish. This next spot sits between the Cranberry Bog and Savage Divide, a little west of Firebase Hancock. This spot is not only a dual region camp, but it's actually pretty unique. It makes for an interesting camp location because you have this river that flows into it, and then on the other side is this massive pond. It's really pretty. And on the other side, the river continues. So let's get into what the region divide is for while you're fishing. I would say the easiest landmark to go by is this line of boulders right here. And so on this side, you would have the Savage Divide, and then on this side is the Cranberry Bog. Let's start by fishing in the Savage Divide region first. So we're actually just right there from the line of where it goes into the Cranberry Bog region. And you can actually just fish right here. So let's see what we can get. It's a squirrely dude. What's it gonna be? Oh man. Nice, there we go. So, as you see, armored spinefish, that is a fish that is native to the Savage Divide region. All right, so now I'll show you the Cranberry Bog region, and I don't think you can fish really in this little stream part right here. So you're going to want to come down just a little bit further, and after some finessing, we can find a spot where you can in fact fish over here. And there is our divider line. And you can also kind of use this stream as a guide so you know which region you're fishing in. So let's see what we can catch. And there it is, our bog sawgill. And we are fishing in the Cranberry Bog. So yeah, pretty cool. Just remember to use this line of boulders as kind of your dividing line for your camp. And when you're placing your camp, you'll want to probably put it, you know, somewhere kind of in this area so that way you can have both the Cranberry Bog and the Savage Divide in your camp and be fishing and using your weather station and get all the benefits. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite camps on the list just because you have this pretty creek that runs through and then this massive pond on the other side. I think there's a lot of cool camp builds you could do here. And then also, of course, be fishing in 2 places at once. So not bad, good camp spot. Check it out if you haven't yet. It's a fun one. So this dual region camp build sits between the forest and the Toxic Valley, and it is south of Grafton Dam. This is another one that is a little tricky to be able to tell the actual dividing line for, but I have been using this boulder right here as where the forest and Toxic Valley meet. So on this side you have the Toxic Valley, and you can kind of tell because the trees also look a bit more decayed than when you go over on this side, which is the forest. They're a little bit more full of life. And then this side would be fishing for the forest. So you just want to make sure kind of you have these boulders over here that create this line. And then on this side, you have kind of a junk pile. So those are kind of some ways to help you kind of determine where the Toxic Valley and where the forest region are. Okay, so let's go fish in the forest first. So we'll just come right over here. And it's pretty easy on this side to fish. Since the water is deep enough, the Toxic Valley side, it can be a bit more challenging to find a spot. But here we go. Nice. And there it is, our timber sawgill. So that is for the forest side. And now let's run over here, across from our boulders, and we will check this side out. Perfect, and there we go, our notches sawgill. It works out pretty well. All right, so when placing your camp box, let's take a look at that. I would probably place it, not there. I'd probably place it, you know, somewhere on one of these rocks, because then you can see you easily get both regions in your camp. And this is a nice one because you can build all the way over the top to the other side and do some fun stuff up there, like a dock or a bridge or something. And then you can easily have your dual-wheeled ponds, if you will, for the Toxic Valley and the forest. So another cool camp, definitely build here. I would be curious to see what kind of a build that goes over both rocks and ponds would look like. I think that would be fun. So yeah, check it out. And that wraps up my favorite multi-region camp locations, perfect for maximizing your fish catching potential. If you found this helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to join my Discord and channel and check out my socials below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the wasteland.